Right now on News 3, hear from the candidates vying to take on Governor Scott Walker ahead of next week's primary election. And a Madison woman is getting ready to sue the city after she says it backed out of paying for flood damage.
This is News 3 at 10.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. Eric is off this week. Less than 1 week to go for the Democratic primary for Governor Scott Walker's challenger. Tonight, 7 of the 8 candidates had a forum. New tonight at 10, we break down how it went, and Amy Reed joins us now to show us what they had to say. Amy?
Yeah, this is a crowded ballot. 8 candidates, all with very similar stances on legalization of marijuana, school vouchers, background checks for guns, the list goes on. Only 7 could be there tonight. Malin Mitchell's staff said he got stuck in Seattle. The others took questions on their platforms and controversies through the campaign. We asked each of them what sets them apart.
Not us. Do you understand that? Not us.
I've been in the legislature for almost 12 years. I know where the bones are buried. I don't need a crash course in what the governor's done or what he hasn't done. I've read the audits. I know the recommendations that he has been given and hasn't followed.
I'm the one who's tough enough to beat Scott Walker. I'm the only one with the experience to manage the really complicated problems of fixing Wisconsin.
Somebody asked me today about what is the most important thing about our public schools and what do I want young people to do. I want them to be good adults. I want them to be successful adults. And in order to do that, they have to have citizenship. They have to have civics.
I'm the only candidate that set out a plan to stop Foxconn. I'm going to go into court the first day that I'm governor, and I'm going to file litigation in federal court to stop it. Everyone else complains about it, but I'm the only one that knows how to stop it, and I will stop it.
I have a track record of actually turning our progressive values into real results for Wisconsin families. I have the experience and the energy to make Wisconsin the best place to raise a family and the best place to raise to grow business, and I can win in November.
I think I'm set apart because I'm a fresh face. I'm bringing a new vision and a real break, a real chance for Wisconsin to have a new chapter in our politics and move forward with some great ideas and to innovate once again on progressive policies.
I'm the one candidate who's spent my life working to expose the influence of big money in politics and expose government corruption, and that's certainly the spirit that I bring into this race and into the governor's office is that dedication to getting our government to work for all of us and not just a wealthy and well-connected few at the top.
It was packed to come and watch this forum. Library security had to turn people away well before the event started. The room got full about half hour before, the overflow seating shortly after that. Now, the Marquette University poll showed Tony Evers ahead, but also said many voters are still undecided, and that primary is now less than a week away.
In another statewide race next Tuesday, there are 2 Republican candidates running for U.S. Senate, Kevin Nicholson and Leah Vukmir. While they both oppose legalizing marijuana for recreational use, their views differ on medicinal marijuana.
For medical marijuana, in other words, prescribed by a doctor, yeah, I am okay with that. And here's why. I've talked to a lot of cancer patients, and I know it helps with pain and restlessness.
As a nurse, I have a real hard time with knowing the fact that it is a Schedule I drug, which means it has very little medical use and indications.
On most other policy issues, the 2 conservatives are advocating for the same things. They both want a wall to be built on the southern border to end illegal immigration, and they are backing President Trump's tariff and trade policies. And with so many candidates on next week's ballot, political reporter Jessica Arp breaks down in 60 seconds what you should know before you head to the polls.
First thing to know, this is a partisan primary, so you'll need to pick one party to vote for on Tuesday. That doesn't mean you need to be a registered member of a party. It just means you need to vote a straight party ticket. So when you get your ballot, you'll choose Republican or Democratic or a third party, and you'll vote only in those races. You'll find multiple statewide races on your ballot Tuesday. The first is the race for governor. There are 8 Democrats and 2 Republicans on the ticket. You'll vote separately for lieutenant governor. There are 2 Democrats and 1 Republican running in that race. There are also statewide elections for state treasurer and secretary of state, and there are multiple candidates running on both sides. The primary for attorney general only has 1 candidate on each side. We'll also vote in the race for U.S. Senate. There are multiple candidates running only on the Republican side. Who you should vote for, of course, is up to you. We've got more information on many of these races and candidates on channel3000.com.
There are also local primary races on some ballots, and you can find your ballot and your polling place at myvote.wi.gov. A Republican congressman from New York and early supporter of President Trump is facing federal charges tonight. Congressman Chris Collins turned himself into the FBI this morning. He is pleading not guilty to charges of insider trading and lying to federal agents. The FBI says the three-term congressman passed along information about a publicly traded biotech company, one which Collins sat on the board and was the company's largest shareholder at the time. The Trump administration today slapped new economic sanctions on Moscow, saying Russia violated an international ban on chemical weapons. The sanctions penalize Russia for a nerve agent attack against a former Russian military officer turned British spy and his daughter. Both were sickened but survived. The attack happened in March in England. Russia has denied responsibility. And let's turn it over to weather now. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti is in the Weather Center with our first alert forecast. Hi, Gary.
Hi, Charlotte. Pretty quiet out there this evening. Humidity levels up just a tad, and there are some showers and thunderstorms, but mainly in the northeastern portion of the state. I think these will stay north of Green Bay, but the front that's responsible for them as it moves into southern Wisconsin later tomorrow afternoon could give us a chance for a shower or thunderstorm, mainly south of Madison. Right now, Doppler track free of precipitation over southern Wisconsin. Low temperatures this morning started out right around 60 degrees, give or take a couple of degrees either direction. High temperatures today generally in the lower 80s. A few places stayed in the upper 70s to our east, but to our west is as warm as 85 in Boscobel and 87 in La Crosse. Current temperatures are still in the 70s over much of southern Wisconsin. A few spots are in the upper 60s. Dew point temperatures are in the middle 60s to around 70. Probably see some patchy fog tonight, but right now none of the major reporting stations reporting any fog in the southern part of the state. By tomorrow morning, look for temperatures to drop into the middle to upper 60s. Look for skies to be partly sunny for tomorrow with a high of 85, but there is a chance for a shower or thunderstorm late in the afternoon, again, especially south of Madison. That's your first alert forecast.
Gary, thank you. A child abuse and abduction investigation took a stunning turn in New Mexico today. Siraj Wahaj appeared in court to answer to a slew of criminal charges. Among the allegations, prosecutors say he'd been training children to carry out school shootings. He was arrested last week at this squalid compound in New Mexico. He was taken into custody along with another man and 3 women. Sheriff's deputies also rescued 11 children from the location and placed them in foster care. Wahaj is also wanted in Georgia in connection with the disappearance of his disabled 3-year-old son, who was last seen in December. We're learning about new allegations tonight against the DeForest police chief. They come as part of a complaint filed today with the Village of DeForest Police Commission. The complaint includes new information from an internal investigation into the department beyond allegations of racist actions by the chief. It lists 4 counts, including failure to address employee misconduct, inappropriate public communications, conduct detrimental to public confidence in the police department, and improperly disclosing confidential information. The complaint alleges Seth failed to investigate reported sexual harassment inside the department. It also lists multiple social media posts on the department pages, including squad car video of a man with mental illness running naked through a McDonald's parking lot. The complaint also says the chief was involved in distributing video of a domestic violence event where a man shot his wife in the head. The village board says they are calling for discipline or termination against Seth. He has been on paid administrative leave since May after a controversial YouTube video surfaced of him mocking a group of black men. A cemetery with deep roots in Madison's history is picking up the pieces tonight after multiple headstones were vandalized. A total of 36 headstones were tipped over last night. About a dozen of those are cracked or shattered. Most of them are from the 1800s. Police don't have any leads. The Parks Department told us they should be able to pay for all of the headstones to be fixed. The controversial Slender Man movie is set to hit theaters this week, and it will not be shown in 2 of the most popular theaters in the area. A representative from Marcus Theater says the movie will not be shown at Marcus Point in Madison or Marcus Palace in Sun Prairie. The film is also not being shown in Milwaukee and Waukesha County. Marcus released a statement today saying, in part, after careful consideration and out of respect for those who were impacted, we have decided not to play the upcoming Slender Man movie. Blue-green algae has been found in Lake Koshkonong in Rock County. The county health department says anyone considering recreation on or in the water should use caution and common sense. Right now, they say it is hard to determine exact levels of toxin concentrations. Back in June, we brought you the story of several residents in Madison who were severely affected by flooded homes from a water main break. The city insured them they would pay for the damages, but now residents tell us they're taking back their word. Jamie Perez spoke with one resident who says she can't handle the financial burden of the city's negligence, and she joins us now with that story. Jamie?
Well, the woman I spoke with is just one of many residents in this neighborhood who are dealing with this. Not only does she not have enough money to pay for what she calls the city's negligence, but all her neighbors say they just want the city to do the right thing.
This whole area was shelving that was wood or some kind of porous material, so those collapsed and we lost things like photo albums, baby pictures, children's literature from when I was a kid, things that you can't replace. So that was probably emotionally the hardest area.
Emily Maybe has had a rough couple of months.
Sewage sludge, like human waste.
Her home was just one of several.
Hermina Street and Union Street and Oak Street.
With thousands of dollars now down the drain from a water main break.
It happened on the city's water main. The city had just worked on the water main the month before, and we heard from a utility worker that they believe the burst was caused by the fact that a valve was improperly left shut after they closed up the hole in the ground.
She says the city originally said they'd work with her to pay for the damages.
As you can see, the bottom several stairs are underwater.
Only to have them retract.
And then this morning I woke up to see that they had denied our claim, and the only statement they made was that the city's not liable.
She says finger pointing is leading them to a frustrating dead end.
My insurance won't cover it because they say the city's liable, and the city says they're not liable, and we're not really sure how that could even be possible.
It's tough for anyone affected, but Emily says she can't afford for the city not to take responsibility.
Really frustrating that the city somehow thinks that they don't owe us the $12,500 that they've taken from me, which is my entire life saving. I teach public school, and I feel like I've given back to this city for 5 years now, and I've never asked for anything. And now this one time when I really need them to come through for us, they're not.
She's even planning on going through extreme measures just to get by.
Our plan is to dumpster dive all winter so we don't have to pay for food.
Emily also has several side jobs, including being a DJ to earn her some extra money, but her equipment was also destroyed in the flooding. We did reach out to the city's risk management team and the insurance company that's involved. Neither were reachable for comment. Emily added she never wanted it to get to this point, but she says if the city does not agree to pay for her damages, she is prepared to take legal action.
Jamie, thank you. Still to come tonight, a new park is set to open tomorrow in Madison, and why local landlords may get hit with a new bill as we get closer to move-out day downtown. Welcome back. A new park on Madison's west side will officially open tomorrow. It is called Thousand Oaks Park in the 1000 Oaks neighborhood. The park is 15 acres and includes an open field, a 20 by 32-foot shelter that can be reserved, walking paths, a council ring seating area, and a play area. The official opening of the park is 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and the event is open to the public. Move-out day can be a huge headache, but if everyone follows the rules, things can go much smoother. The city and property owners are reminding tenants to properly dispose of goods. Most appliances, including microwaves, require a fee to pick up, or you can drop them off at a city drop-off site. Televisions, computers, and laptops must be brought directly to the site.
There's a lot of electronic stuff that's actually banned from the landfills. Things like televisions, computers, there's stuff that you just can't throw away that you should recycle by law. And plus, it's just the right thing to do.
If renters don't do that, landlords get stuck with not having to pay the collection fee, but may get an additional fine from the city. Chief Meteorologist Gary Canolfi is here now with a look at your forecast.
That just reminds me of move-in day for my son going to college.
I know, big day coming up.
Yeah, well, hopefully the weather will be nice for that. Tomorrow, I think the weather should be pretty nice for most of the day, but there will be a chance for a shower or thunderstorm tomorrow afternoon. Tonight, those thunderstorms are up in northeastern Wisconsin. They will stay north of Green Bay, but the front that's responsible for them, as it sags into the southern part of the state, could touch off a couple of thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, mainly from Madison southward. High temperatures over the next 7 days staying above normal. The average high temperature is 80. I think for the next 7 days, we're looking at high temperatures in the low to mid 80s. And beyond that, the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook from the Climate Prediction Center from August 16th through the 22nd, calling for above normal temperatures for about the northern 2/3 of the country, with the highest probabilities from Wisconsin westward into the Pacific Northwest. Precipitation expected to be above normal closer to the Ohio River and below normal for North Dakota and Montana. But here in southern Wisconsin, equal chances of above or below normal precipitation. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet out there. Still a little humid. High temperature today 82, the low temperature at 60, very close to the average high of 80 and the average low of 60. Right now we're at 75 degrees. Winds are out of the southwest at 3 miles per hour. Dew point temperature is still in the middle 60s. And after that cold front passes, we may see the atmosphere kind of dry out just a little bit as we head toward the weekend. By the way, if you have any good pictures that you might be interested in submitting for our Wisconsin weather calendar, send them in now. They need to be in by the end of the month. Email them to weathercalendar@wisctv.com. Send them in as high resolution as possible, horizontal format, of course. But if you email them in by August 31st, you will be in the running for possibly having your picture submitted for the calendar for next year's weather calendar. High temperatures today, generally in the 80s, very typical for summertime weather. In fact, it was warmer in Superior than it was in Madison, and the Twin Cities topped out at 90. But there is a cold front, and as I mentioned, the winds pretty light out of the southwest in the 5 to 10 mile per hour range here. But notice up across northern Minnesota, those winds shift to a little more northwesterly direction. And right in between, that's where these showers and thunderstorms have been developing. But they're heading southeastward along with the upper level jet stream winds. Now, tomorrow, as that cold front gets into southern Wisconsin, there'll be a little more moisture here. So we'll probably see a couple more thunderstorms pop up. Rest of the country, pretty quiet. Some thunderstorms out east, the west, dry, and they could use the rain there, but they're not going to get it, at least in the foreseeable future. High pressure is located just to our south, keeping us humid and mild through much of our part of the Midwest. Temperatures are still in the 70s. Twin Cities right now at 83 degrees, and dew point temperatures are still well into the 60s, so it'll be a little while before we can drop those humidity levels. Overnight, partly cloudy skies, mild, some areas of fog, not as widespread as last night. Low temperature at 64. For tomorrow, look for high of 85. It'll be very warm and humid. We could see a shower or thunderstorm chance, mainly south of Madison, later in the afternoon. On future track, those southwesterly winds continuing tonight. Low temperatures in the middle 60s. But tomorrow, notice that wind shift to the north, and right on the front edge of that, that's where we'll see some thunderstorms pop up, mainly south of Madison later tomorrow afternoon. Those should move out tomorrow evening. Low temperatures will drop into the lower 60s by early on Friday morning. A little instability behind the front could pop up a shower or thunderstorm in a few spots on Friday. High temperatures in the lower 80s. As we check out the 7 to 10 day forecast, those temperatures, like I say, remaining in the low to mid 80s right through the weekend and into much of next week. Humidity levels will be a little lower for the weekend, but start to come up toward the middle of next week, and that will lead to another chance for a couple of thunderstorms at that time. But none of those days looked like a complete washout.
All right, good to hear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It takes the Brewers about 15 minutes to take control of things at Miller Park tonight. That story coming up in sports.
The Brewers didn't look so hot in an 11-5 loss to San Diego last night at Miller Park. But the great thing about baseball, another day, another game. And this one goes much better for the Brewers. First inning, Jesus Aguilar pounds another homer. It's a 3-run shot, number 28 for Aguilar. It's 3-0 Brewers at 7:27 p.m. The next batter at 7:28, Travis Shaw, 23rd homer of the year off the batting eye in dead center field. It's 4-0 Brewers. The very next batter is Eric Thames. He hits a homer at 7:30 p.m. 3 batters, 3 homers, and plenty of run support for Ulysse Shashin. Final score, Brewers 8, Padres 4. The Cubs also lost in Kansas City, 9-0 tonight. Madison Mallards down to the final 4 games in the regular season now. Tonight, the Mallards get 2 in the bottom of the ninth to pull out a 5-4 win over Kalamazoo at Warner Park. The Packers have their first preseason game tomorrow night at Lambeau Field against the Tennessee Titans. Kickoff just after 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Of course, Aaron Rodgers should watch the game from the sidelines, but it'll be an important test for guys like backup quarterbacks Deshaun Kaiser and Brett Hundley as they try to make an impression. For Rodgers and the top-line veterans, the start of preseason means training camp is getting closer to ending.
I'm getting older and grumpier, you know. I've been at this for a long time, so I'm tired too. You know, we're all a little tired. When you start to think about guys you can trust on the field, how else can you see it, especially if I'm not playing a whole lot in the preseason, than in those practice, you know, one-on-one reps against our defense.
The Wisconsin Badgers volleyball team ranked 9th in the nation in the volleyball coaches preseason poll out today. Stanford ranked number 1, defending NCAA champion Nebraska number 2. There are 7 Big Ten teams ranked in the top 25. And Wisconsin's home opener is September 1st against Texas, which is ranked number 3 in the nation. Some pretty significant changes approved for NCAA men's basketball. Eligible underclassmen will now be allowed to enter the NBA draft and return to school if they aren't drafted. They're also going to allow elite high school recruits and college players to be represented by agents certified by the NCAA if the NBA and its Players Association approve the changes too. The Milwaukee Bucks will play on Christmas Day for the first time since 1977. The NBA schedule is out today, and the Bucks will play the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden Christmas Day. The Bucks are 2-2 all-time in Christmas Day games. We're a little over a week away from the start of the high school football season. The Prep Mania Game of the Week returns a week from Friday. Sun Prairie at Madison Memorial is our first live telecast on TVW and Channel3000.com, Friday, August 17th. If you go to an Arizona Cardinals football game this season, you can buy this for $75. It's the Gridiron Burger Challenge. 5 1/3 pound burger patties, 5 all-beef hot dogs, 5 bratwursts, 20 slices of American cheese, 8 slices of bacon, 8 chicken fingers, 12 ounces of fries, lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, and tanker sauce on a 10-inch bun. Fans who finish the burger in less than an hour get a Cardinals jersey and their picture on the scoreboard. That thing weighs 7 pounds, and you're going to weigh a lot more if you finish it. We'll be right back.
Gary's back with a final check of your forecast.
Still pretty mild out there. If you've gone outside, temperature is still in the mid-70s most areas, but visibility is right now pretty good. Fog will be patchy tonight, but not as widespread as what we saw this morning. Temperatures, though, are going to stay warm, low to mid-80s through the weekend and through much of next week. Thunderstorm chance tomorrow afternoon, mainly south of Madison. Slight chance Friday, and then a little better chance toward the middle of next week.
Looks like a nice weekend ahead.
It does.
Thank you, Gary. Thank you for joining us. Do something good, and we'll see you here tomorrow.